I've decided that, well, first of all, I've changed the lens to the 70-200, happy with that shot. I've set up my reflector because I really wanted to share with you my sort of trusted soft light system using this ARRI 750 watt lamp. Basically, I put it on the stand and I'm using it as a reflector, but what I want to do is overpower the daylight coming into the room by adding this tungsten light source. Now this is 750 watts, and as you can see, it gives off a beautiful soft light source. What you're doing when you bounce light, you probably know this already, but if you're just needing a bit of a refresher, the lamp source here is very small. When you reflect that off a reflector like this, you actually increase the size of the lamp source, and therefore making it bigger and therefore making it softer. Now if I just have a quick look at how that shot's looking, and you'll do a bit of this walking back and forward, you know, that's a pretty interesting looking light source. Just have a look at my close shot. I mean, it's actually a nice level of illumination. And what we've got is the, in fact, if anything, it's a bit hot. So what I can do, and by hot I mean a bit bright, we're just picking up some highlights on Izzy's face, which are sort of burning out. Now that's how to do it. If I just close that down, and I can back this off by just moving it further back a little bit. You find that just moving a light a few inches one way or the other, much nicer, much nicer. And actually, yeah. Now the next thing I'm going to do is, I've got a highlight, a blue highlight on the back wall here. And it's being caused by the light coming in this window, just here. It's a little bit distracting, so dealt with by taking the light off. I find that in many, many cases, if something doesn't look right, if you can switch it off or block it out, you're getting back your control. Now that's looking interesting. There's a chair in back of shot which I need to move, and I think I'll move this out of the way. I'll move it in. That's it. Again, a lot of just moving stuff around to get it out the way. It's a bit dangerous there.
Health and safety.
That's it. That's the producer calling health and safety. Right, so this is starting to work. Again, only got a single light source up at the minute. Attention to detail for me is what it's all about. I like that. I think what I'm going to do is put some sort of backlight. Now, you'll notice a bit of smoke coming off this lamp. That's just because it's a new lamp, it's burning off the moulding, if you like, some of the excess dust. But I'm going to just switch that off for the time being, because being a conference centre, they've got very sensitive smoke alarms. But don't be alarmed if you see that. That's quite common in a new lamp head. And what I can do while I'm waiting is add this backlight in. Again, these datas are only 12 volt. When they first get switched on, they're not too hot. Now what I'm trying to do with this light is just barn door it off. See how it's on the table there? Again, what I can do with this, I just want it to be on Izzy's hair. And this is why these lamps are so funky, because you really can be very accurate with your lighting. And again, just want some subtlety, because I've got some blue light already coming in on this side of her face. I'm complementing that with some warm light on the other side of her face. And then the key light yeah, it's nice that. And see, we've started to turn this really horrible. I mean, you remember that opening shot of the fluorescence on with a single light source and daylight coming in. We've managed to create something a bit more unusual. Now, one of the things you'll notice about just turning this light on again, while it gives off a really nice, big, wide source, it also lights up the entire back wall. And I don't actually want that to do that because I want to keep a sense of depth by creating a bit of a dark area on the back. So I'm going to swap this light out. I just wanted to demonstrate that it is a lovely, nice, soft source. And I'm going to use my dado softbox for this because I don't need a huge illumination, but what I do want is control. It's controllable, soft, and quick. So instead of bouncing the light like we were doing here, get rid of this. And replace that with a nice softbox. And also the other advantage of this is I can dim this lamp. Now this is a rectangular lamp source, so I can either choose to put the light up like this or like so. I want to put it this way, I think, because I want to spread the light across her face. By the time I put the egg crate on, I'll be really controlling where that light's going. And the weight of this lamp kind of becomes a bit front heavy, so when you've got to be careful when you put the legs on the ground that you don't put the legs like so, because any little knock they'll fall over. Always put the weight over a leg. A little health and safety tip there. Keeps producers happy. Again, using this inline dimmer. Dado pay a lot of attention to detail, and what you find is they're extremely versatile lamps. Things like the Velcro just means you tidy them away the same every time. When you're getting them out here, it's very, very fast. And the other thing you can do with a dado is it's got a little hoop, and you can loop that over the hook on your lamp stand. So what we've now got is a nice soft source. What you'll find is it's not spilling as much on the wall, although we are getting this air vent, which we can just close off. It's that level of detail attention which I like. Now, let's have a look at how that is looking on camera. So again, just another way, an alternate way of creating a soft light source. That's a lovely quality, that. It's slightly more directional, and so we've got some definition. We've got a blue highlight coming on this side of her face, a bit of shadow, a nice soft key on the other side, and that little highlight coming off the backlight. I just want to demonstrate now we can control this even further by adding our trusty egg crate. And what this will do is just give us the additional control we need. This just sits on some Velcro. Acts like barn doors. I mean, we've talked about this before, but it really is. When you buy these things, it can add quite a lot to your lighting kit, these egg crates, because they are very carefully engineered pieces of fabric, but they're really worth the money, because in this situation here, I'm just being able to focus the light into the area I want it to be in. We talked before about creating depth and having control, and that is really starting to sing to me. Notice how much darker the background has gotten. That's really important. It's really gotten a lot darker on camera compared to what we had before. Now, if I wanted to, I could add a slash of light. I can do that one of two ways. I can do that using the 800, or the 750 rather. The 800 was the lamp that used to be this kind of size. I'm now discontinuing that and using the 800. And what I can do is just close down the barn doors and create texture on the back wall. Now this has a mesh grid in it which protects the bulb in case there's you get a duff bulb occasionally and it might pop and it might explode some glass. It just helps protect. That's interesting. Now the only problem we've got is that we're actually seeing the light stand in the corner of shot. So what I can do is reduce the intensity of this bulb on this dado using the dimmer function. If I switch it on to dim, and move the light physically closer. So what I've done is I've moved the light closer, but dimmed the light down to get the same effect. Let's get a little bit hot. So what I've done is removed the shadow that we had on the wall here. And if I want to accentuate that effect on the back wall, do it like so. Very, very effective way of creating texture on a wall. When you have uninteresting backgrounds, you want texture, and that's no good because I can see that light stand in shot. You know, you'll notice me doing this again and again and again, walking back and forward, tweaking things. You know, we don't always have the luxury of having a gaffer or a spark on location, or even an assistant. And so you have to get over it really and just do the legwork. But this is for me one of the most creative parts of shooting, is making something out of nothing. Perfect. Really happy with that. That's at 100mm. That's at 100 and 200. And then on the wide shot, it's a bit trickier because we can see the light in shot, and actually it's not as interesting a shot. So let's go to 135. So really happy with that actually. So there's our shot at 135mm. There's our shot at 200. Really, really happy with that.